إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. Brothers and sisters in Islam, the culture we live in, they promote that one-man show, that one person can just turn things around, and this is normally depicted in these pictures that our youngsters watch, like Spider-Man, Superman, Sniper-Man, all these mans that they produce. But Islam has a different approach. Islam has a complete different approach. Islam has a community approach. So if you want to impact, change the course of action in this facility, it has to be done collectively. It can't be one person doing the work and the rest is being passive and waiting for the work to be done. As a matter of fact, sometimes the behavior of one person may impact the entire community, whether positively or negatively. And because of my time here, I will share with you one hadith which is very interesting. But before I share that hadith with you, I want you to always look at the Quran and Sunnah and trust them to be your guidance until the day of judgment. Whenever you want guidance, you will find it in the Quran and Sunnah. I made a claim right now that the individual behavior or action may impact the entire community, whether constructively or destructively. I will validate this with a beautiful hadith. Imam al-Bukhari wa Muslim, they both compile this hadith, well, Sahih al-Nasai, also Tirmidhi and others. Hadith Abi Hurairah radiyallahu anhu. Hear that interesting story. A man, Rajul, and that's the beauty of the revelation. The Prophet says, Rajul, a man. You see, it's very ineffective and impractical, not practical, to try to impersonalize these texts because it was meant to be forever. This is a man in one community. Don't say that community and his name is so and so. Then you're making it exclusive instead of being inclusive until the day of judgment. That is why the Prophet said, Rajul, a man. Don't say a Rajul. Don't identify him. You may do that if you are a student of knowledge and you want to go deep and dig, which I done. في مسند Ahmad, this man from Bani Israel. This man from Bani Israel. He wanted to give us sadaqah. He wanted to donate, give something for the sake of Allah. And this man wanted to attain the highest level. What is the highest level? Is actually an individual or category of people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will pull them out on the day of judgment from under the heat of the sun and place them under the shade of his throne. Who? Rajulun, a man, giving a sadaqah with his right hand. One of them, Hadith Abi Hurairah, Sahihain, the seven will be shaded under the throne. One category is what? A man who given a sadaqah with his right hand that his left hand did not know about it. What does that mean? A lot of you read the hadith, but have you examined the meaning of that? That means that person is giving a sadaqah to someone he doesn't know. So imagine you give a sadaqah to somebody who doesn't know. Because his hand, he did not know. So for him to do that, he has to go at night, pitch dark. Why when you give a sadaqah like this? Because normally, when you give a sadaqah, your nafs always expect some sort of gratification. Even from, like I gave you a sadaqah one day, so when I pass by you, this brother, by the way, one day I gave him a sadaqah. I mean, your nafs, even an insinuation, you may not utter it, but inside you, you're going to feel this way. You're going to feel you're superior to him. But when you give it to someone that you don't know, whether these brothers we advise not to take these, they call it interest, and I call it usury because that's how it's called. Shaitan calls it interest for you, from bank accounts. And then the brothers finally, they heed. Of course, they tell you, well, we're going to do it. No, don't do that. Don't do that. And when you give it out, give it to someone you don't know. So you receive zero gratification from that. Throw it somewhere. Send it somewhere. People you don't know. Get rid of it somewhere. But don't give it to someone you know. Because it's bad. It's filth anyways. It's shahid, the important thing. This man, although by the way, I want to tell you, sometimes giving sadaqah in public and disclosing that, provided that you are set on your level of sincerity, is actually much better. قال تعالى إن تبدوا الصدقات فنعما هي. If you disclose your sadaqah, actually is much better. Why? لأن خيرك يتعدى لغيرك. Some people, they will be sitting down and waiting for someone to donate, to give for the sake of Allah, for them to give. Okay, he gave, then I'm going to give. So you're actually guiding people to do something which is good. But the shahid, the important thing, this man wanted to attain that highest level, that he wanted to receive zero gratification. And obviously from the context of the hadith, it sounds like it's a big sadaqah. It's a big amount. So he waited until midnight. After midnight, it's completely dark. He's walking down the street. He met someone he didn't know. He placed the sadaqah in his hand. This person was so excited, the one who received, the recipient of the sadaqah, was so excited that he received so much money in sadaqah that he couldn't keep it a secret, although it was a secret. So he started sharing the news with everybody. It sounds that the news like it was overwhelming, that the entire town started saying, you know what happened? Last night, a prostitute received the sadaqah. Prostitute. You know what prostitute is, right? I'll have to explain that. So he actually given a sadaqah to a prostitute. So the man felt a little bit disappointed. Of course, that was not his intention. But subhanAllah, he said, as long as I intended to give it to someone who needs it, and I ended up doing that, he said, Alhamdulillah ala zalik. I'm still going to say Alhamdulillah. يعني أوكل هذا لربي. But he said, you know what, I'm going to try again tonight. Maybe another shot tonight. Maybe it will go to the right person. So he waits until it's dark, he walks, he places the sadaqah, the same amount obviously, in the hand of someone else. The same thing happened. The news circulated. The entire town in the morning started saying, last night the thief, the person who steals us, who robs us, received the sadaqah. Thief is someone who steals, right? Thief, thief, someone who steals, haram. The man became what? Again. He said, what is this? Obviously Allah is not accepting. He started questioning. Then he said, I'm going to try one more time. So he went and he placed the sadaqah in the hand of someone he did not know. Guess what? The sadaqah landed in the hand of the richest man in town. The entire town in the morning started saying, the richest man in the town received a sadaqah yesterday, last night. He gave it up. As if he was disappointed, feeling down. And subhanAllah, Allah wanted to comfort him. There are two ways that the Prophet at the time addressed him with the revelation, or Allah sent to him an angel, which possible in Bani Israel, Or I said two wording, actually three wording, or he saw a dream, a vision. Allah is telling him, Ya Had, O soul, your sadaqah was accepted 3 times. And by the way, the sadaqah fixed the entire community. How? The rich man was stingy. The rich category, the people who are well off in the community, are stingy. And that led people to need. And they justified their stealing, their immorality because of this. You see, the prostitute was performing this as a job to earn a living. Why? Because the society is not supporting her. No zakat. Remember that the rich man is what? Is stingy. Those who have the money are withholding it. They don't want to spend it. And that led to a complete corruption in the society. Theft, stealing, immorality, and you name it. Now, this man who is rich, because of your sadaqah, he said, someone who walks at night and he gives the money like that, seeking no gratification, zero gratification, there must be something good about spending. He's going to start spending. So the entire community was fixed because of that person. And that shows you when you're sincere, you do things for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your act can travel a long way, whether during your life or whether after your life. You see, who caused the damage to begin with? Those who have the money. They didn't care about the community. And actually there is an evidence which is material for Sunnah. If you're familiar with Hadith Abdullah ibn Umar regarding the 3 individuals who were stranded in a cave, and each one of them made dua. I hope you're familiar with this hadith if you ever heard it before. In order for them to be able to exit the cave, what the second man said, I had a cousin. I loved her. Female cousin. I loved her. She ran into financial crisis, her and her husband. She came to me, asking for a loan, asking for money. I said, I won't give you money unless you give up yourself to me. I want to commit adultery. I love you and you went and married someone else. I want to fulfill that lustful love, that desire. It's killing me. I want to have you. By the way, when we narrate that hadith, we always say, the woman said, no, ittaqillah, no. Read that hadith carefully. This woman actually went around the community. Please help me. Please help me. Please help me. Please help me. Nobody helped her. Nobody. Nobody. So she came back to him, but she reminded him with the fear of Allah. I'm doing this because I have to, but you should fear Allah. Taqillah. And subhanAllah, again, because of her sincerity, her cousin woke up from his drunkenness. ما هو الشهوة هذا لعمرك إنهم لفي سكرتهم يعمهون. Shahwa hada, the desire, the lust is like being drunk. He woke up. As soon as she reminded me of Allah. I woke up and فَقُمْتُ عَنْهَا. I stood up and I left her. وَهِيَ أَحَبُّ النِّسَاءِ إِلَيْهِ. And she's the most beloved female to me on the face of this earth. Because I heard her. A share really important thing, brothers and sisters in Islam. When you see your community is in needing or is needing, especially at this time and age. Brothers and sisters in Islam, masajid now cannot just be a musalla. Masajid now has to be a community center, has to be a school. it has to be a place where the entire family, Muslim family, finds something to do. Because out there you have no control. The broader community, the larger community, you have no control over what takes place. I hope those who are sending their kids to public school, they reconsider, especially after the unreasonable, unprecedented progress in the agenda of a certain group called the LGBTQXYZ. That's, what is this in the public school system? And I never heard of this in my life, that you teach kids, confuse them about their gender. About their gender. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote your gender when you are in the womb of your mother. Hadith ibn Mas'ud fi Sahih Muslim, that when you're in the womb of your mother, an angel comes and writes a male or female. There is no third here. There is Adam and Eve. There is no Adam and Steve. No, Adam and Eve. That's all we know. But you sending your children to that environment, and then you expect the righteousness and piety? No. So why not having a nice school in this beautiful building? I just walked out there in the back and I saw the space you have in the back. It's not just here. But again, it's going to take those who care about the community and have the means. And Allah knows who you are. Allah identifies you. You have the means to that. Brothers and sisters in Islam, it takes you to contribute to this, not to wait until, one of the brothers was telling me yesterday that, it wasn't a fundraising. Your brother, he was telling his name. He made me laugh, quite frankly. And he stood up and he addressed, obviously the fundraiser was having a hard time raising funds. So he addressed the entire congregation and he said, I have good news for you. I have good news and bad news. I hope I'm citing his narration correctly. The good news that all the rich people are here. But the bad news, none of them donated. None of them donated. Brothers and sisters in Islam, wealth is a fitna. Al-mal fitna. That is why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, imagine Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, someone that the disbelievers themselves said to him, we never experienced you uttering wallah. Ma ahidna alayka kadib. When he stood in the mountain of Safa and he said, if I tell you behind this mountain there is an army that is about to invade, what would you say? Ma ahidna alayka kadib. We're going to believe you. He's addressing his followers in this hadith. What does he say? ثَلَاثَةٌ أُقْسِمُ عَلَيْهِمْ. 3 things I'm willing to take oath on for you. Because I know you're skeptical about it. Number 1 is what? Your wealth will never decrease because of a sadaqah that you give. So let's take it oath. Because you give something for the sake of Allah. Your wealth is not going to decrease. Are you going to believe Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or not? That is why the Prophet also said what? وَالصَّدَقَةُ بُرْهَانٌ. The sadaqah is an evidence, is a proof that you believe that. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. الحمد لله رب العالمين له الحمد الحسن والثناء الجميل وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له يقول الحق وهو يهدي السبيل وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وعلى من اتبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Your masjid is having a campaign called Save the Masjid. Those who have something to give, will you act? Will something about it. I will encourage the brothers because I have some experience in the field of da'wah, especially in America. Not just the masjid. Have a school, have a little basketball court out there for the youngster to come and spend some time. This can happen, but we have to come together. And those who have something to give, do not hold. Spend, Ya Bilal, the Prophet says, وَلَا تَخْشَى مِنْ ذِي الْعَرْشِ. Don't be afraid that the owner, the Lord of the throne, is not going to give it back to you. Because if you would hold brothers and sisters in Islam, I read also that we have almost 100 students who memorize the Quran. This can be compromised. Even this young brother who came giving the adhan, if you're here, beautiful. We need brothers like this in the community. We need to pass on that, little light. The light of Islam is like that. It's about to die, holding it. When I pass it on to, maybe we can make it a huge lamp, huge chandelier, huge, so the whole world is enlightened. We can't just leave them at the same place where we were. You see, we want to let the next generation move one step farther. It's going to take generations, by the way, to restore Islam, to bring, and I mean by restore Islam, restore the empowerment of Islam. But Islam doesn't need any restoration. I hope you understand my words correctly. That to empower this religion. Why? Because the wider community needs it. The non-Muslim needs that guidance. I'm telling you. Wallahi, they need it, and they're going into a way which is going to destroy them. And if you think whatever they are doing is not going to be good, is not going to get to you, you're dreaming. You're dreaming. You're going to wake up one day and your son is going to tell you that I changed my gender, I changed that, I'm that. And it's happening. You're dreaming. Well, the Prophet ﷺ said, what? Depict a community, a larger community, like a boat. Some people at the top here means they have the knowledge, they have the wisdom, they have the understanding. And some people in the bottom. So the people in the bottom of the ship, they have no access to water. Every time they have to go up, they bother the people in the top. So, quite frankly, I don't want to hang around those people. I don't like that environment. I don't like it. So I express that to them. They express their dissent that every time they're coming up here, we don't like you. We don't like to interact with you. We don't like to. So look at the people in the bottom. Out of good intention, by the way. By the way, America is doing this out of good intention. Equality! Equality! And they throw these things. They don't know that they are driven by shaitan here. They don't know that. So what happened? The people in the bottom of the ship, we don't want to bother our brothers upstairs. We love them and we want to, bother them. So we're just going to dig a hole in the bottom of the ship so we can get water. They're ignorant. You have the guidance. Are you going to let them dig that hole? If they do, you get the point, brothers. We're having a drive for $250,000 in order to lock that place. Otherwise, it could go away. And we know in America, real estate is crazy. Whoever want to contribute to this, please join us tomorrow between Maghrib and Isha. That's the main event. If you can't, then do your part today. If you're afraid that shaitan is going to get to you between now and tomorrow, do your part now. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من الفتن ما ظهر منها وما بطن يا رب العالمين. اللهم أعط كل منفق خلفا Oh Allah, whoever spends in your cause, whoever cares about this community, give back to him what he spends. And return his spending with a lot of barakah, Ya Rabbil Alameen. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم.